I actually found this blessing comforting. Like, during the divorce from my LDS ecclesiastical abuser, he claimed that I had gone crazy, and he got the court to believe it to such an extent that we had to go get psychological examinations. And it was really traumatic, because when the results came back, some of my results were put into the court record, but none of his were. And the parts that were there were upsetting to me. The parts that were quoted said I would always be angry. Well, as an abuse victim who nobody listened to, perhaps that's why. And so I cried and I cried and I cried, and I went home and read my patriarchal blessing. And for me, it was a comfort, because that's who God said I was. And so it didn't matter who this lady, who was very oppositional and mean in her interview, thought of me. It didn't matter, because this was what God thought of me, and I wasn't this horrible person that this lady, this stranger, had said I was. On the same note, this is how I feel about the patriarchal blessing of my maternal grandmother, who was Native Hawaiian, and my mom had nothing good to say about her, ever, ever, ever. Because I'm multi-generational Mormon, the church lets me get all the blessings of my direct line. So I not only have my blessing, and I can read my husband's blessing, and my child that has gotten one, I also read hers, and we'll get to that. But I also have the copies of blessings of my maternal grandmother, my paternal grandmother, and my maternal great-grandparents, who are also Native Hawaiian. Now, I never heard a good thing ever about my Hawaiian grandmother, ever. Nothing good. I've since found out in genealogical research that she was raped by a member of the church, and her story of a naked greased man coming into her bedroom at night was true. I have an uncle who is genetically the child of this person. We proved it in Ancestry DNA, and the man that she claimed was the one who did it was in her ward. And so everybody who told her she was crazy, everybody who laughed at her when she went a little nuts because my grandfather was a bigamist, fuck you. My grandmother suffered probably most of her life for not being believed. And when I read her patriarchal blessing, even though the patriarch knew supposedly the scenes that she threw at church and the embarrassment she was to my mother, it's a beautiful blessing. It's a beautiful blessing. And it was given in 1983, and she was born in 1926, so it was given later in life. And I'm not going to share that